Add to stage, add to stage. Hi, I think now my screen and my face should be visible. Yes, can see that now. Let me check my audio as well. Can see that now. Let me check my audio as well. Okay, I'm thinking how about I add, how about I add some music. Let me check if I have that option in StreamYard. Manage layouts. No, I guess. Cool. We'll continue as is. So also let me share this link to some people. Cool. Okay, so what we'll be doing in these live streams is, and the reason I'm doing these live streams is I want to build a habit of building things consistently. And from building, the goal is one thing, getting some products out of it, and also to learn the end-to-end product building cycles. For example, how do we ideate on a product? Um, how do we maybe do the initial, a V1 or an MVP? And then how do we make sure users like it? As in, there can be an app which is functional, but how do we make it engaging? How do we make it stand out from other apps? From it may be from UI UX perspective, it might be from the kind of features we are providing, and then basically creating a USP for that product. And then I do want to market it and do want to get some users out of it as well, just to learn. And then exploring on the analytics side, how we can how we can set up analytics, how we can take further decisions based on those analytics. Hi, Varun. Varun is here already. Cool. Yeah. So to start with, I have an idea of a product. I do already have few of the ideas on certain products. Um, to start with, I'll just quickly explain the product idea. Let me open a new Figma screen. So I have a monitor here, and I have my laptop here where I'm looking. I don't care about these emails being exposed right now. Cool, you can see there are a lot of things here. What I'll do is I'll just start with a new project. So it's been some time I have used Figma as well. Cool, better I'll open a FigJam instead of the design template. Yeah, let me see. Cool. So I'll jot down my ideas. So this is more like, although I'll be having it interactive, but it will also be on personal level. Basically, it's more like journaling my own journey on what things I learn, how do I approach things, and maybe I can look back on these things and learn certain things and improve on that. So the product name for now is MapTag. I also have some other names like Tag is one. Yeah. For now, I have these two names in mind. MapTag explains it much better, I feel. And also, yeah, one more name was HashMap. This is more of a coding term, so I'm not that much leaning into this name. This is very generic, not so easy to understand the product right away. MapTag I felt it describes the product pretty well. It has that the application has a map, and also there is something about tagging. So what how does this app work? So basically, or what is how did this idea come about is uh, few instances happened with me and my friends. One of the popular instances, I live in a city called Bangalore, and here in certain weather, sometimes the blossom trees appears in certain places, and basically the leaves, the pink flowers appears on those trees, and it stays for maybe let's say a week or a two, and there are many people who might want to enjoy them, maybe or maybe they want to take some pictures or for anything, right? This is just an example. So if I have to know where is the blossom trees around me, it's right now, if I have to think of an application where I can do so, the nearest application I would think is Google Maps, right? Or it would be Reddit. So on Reddit, I can maybe go to certain, certain what we say pages. I forgot the name. Basically, um, I can go on the Reddit page of Bangalore and maybe check for if someone has created a post about blossom trees in Bangalore where I can find it, and other places Google where I can search and maybe try to get certain data. But if you see, both of them doesn't are not meant for this particular use case. As in, Reddit is not meant for particularly finding locations, right? And also, Google Maps is not very up to date when you think of data which is very dynamic or very real time. So, for example, I I can use Google Maps to add a cherry blossom tree somewhere, okay? But what if in a week that those flowers doesn't exist there anymore, right? Now, similar, so this is one use case where I get to know. So as a user, I just come and I search uh, cherry blossom trees, and I get all the locations in Bangalore in one snap, right? And this data is also real time. Real time as in you can filter by these locations tagged in last 1 week or last 1 day or last 1 month. So basis on that, you can see how recent that location was tagged with that particular text. Now, few more. So this is one use case, right? But it cannot be very specific to one use case. So then I thought it also solves a lot of problems like, let's say a user searches for, how do we say? Let's say a user search, there is some Ganpati event or there are some religious events happening, right? We have in Indian culture, we have certain months or certain times of the year where certain events happen. Now, I want to see, the Ganpati idols or Ganesha idols near me or wherever in Bangalore, right? How do I search that? There's no, again, similarly, the nearest options are Google Map or your Reddit or any such blogging places, right? Where people blog about these things. But again, these are not real time and you cannot judge the popularity of those places. So if I have an application where someone can just tag a location, say there is a good Ganesha idol or Ganesha Pandal here, and on the same time, in the last 2 days, 100 more users have tagged that location. Then that location shows up as a trending location when you search Ganesha Pandal or Ganesha idol. Similarly for the blossom trees. And this use case can be, it can grow, very relative to what kind of users come to the application. So if I have to think of, it can also be used for things like which roads not to use, or let's say there's a flooding, there is a flood happening. Okay, users can come and mark certain locations that these locations are flooding. Although this thing is there in Google Maps, this it can also be, this app can also be used for such use cases. And if I have to, let's say I'm new to Bangalore and I want to explore street side food, and particularly in street side food, I want to, let's say, explore idlis. Now, if I search idli or restaurants which serves idli near me, most of the times these will be the bigger restaurants and not some unexplored street vendors. In using this app, users can tag such locations, and even those places can get some, some visibility. So yeah, that's the whole idea. I'm not really sure if it actually makes sense or not. The only way to find out is build a version and let some people play with it and use it, and then get some initial feedback from them. So that's the whole idea. To get a small version quickly built and get the initial feedback from users, and then maybe start marketing it to get the actual users. So what we'll have in the V1. So okay, so the idea is people tag, um, let's say M people tag. Okay, M people tag. M, let's say, is the number of people, right? M number of people tag, and N number of people, N number of people search the tag slash locations on map. Okay, not sure if it makes sense, but it is making sense in my mind. Um, this. Even I haven't explored Fixam a lot, so basically that's the idea. In this whole journey, I want to explore different tools, different, learning methods, and also be more articulate in what I say. Cool. So how do they do this? N number of people tag locations, and n number of people search the tag slash locations on map. Now, definitely I need a screen where there is a map. Let me mark it as screen one. So it can have what it needs to have a map. It needs to have a search bar. Okay, let me figure this out. I want to left align this. Cool. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, I'm trying to get the dot. Okay, this works. So screen one has to have a map. Okay, it has to have a search. Now, what is a search? Search, I have few ideas. It can be a place search or not, I'm thinking, but definitely search tags. Okay. And when the search tags, we have, let me make it bigger. So when the search tags, right? So as a good product or as a good engineering principle also, it's better to show your users the options upfront. So for example, let's say you are searching for, you're using a, movie booking or a movie ticket booking application. it is much better that they show you the newly launched movies or the popular movies around you straight up, because most of the for the 90% of the users, those will be the options. So this saves us, and this data is can be easily cached for certain hours, right? You can no need to do the DB query or fetch this data each time, right? It can be easily cached on servers. So for example, tags, what we can do is as soon as they click, we can show popular tags slash trending tags. Most successful applications do this. Okay. Most successful applications do this. So popular tags and trending tags pre-filled. Okay. Now, what we also have to show them is, mm, can I take it to top? Not really sure. Hmm. Okay. Cool. I was thinking if this would be, if it would start from the top, but I'm not able to see any options right now. So I'll just skip it. We'll learn on the go. Cool. So yeah, this is one thing. And then when they search, right? When they search for tags, we show them suggestions, fuzzy match suggestions, basically. Fuzzy matched suggestions of tags already present in our data. So basically, tags created by other users. Let me make it wide also. Not this. Can I make it? Yeah, cool. So fuzzy match suggestions of tags already present in our data, also which basically is tags created by other users, right? So basically, if I search blossom, it should show me cherry blossom trees, right? Even if my blossom spelling is wrong, or you got the idea, right? Now, what else? So so I'm imagining a screen where there's a map and there is a search at the very top. When they click on the search, we show the popular tags or trending tags already. If they start typing, we show on user typing, on user input. Cool. On user input. So as soon as they start typing, we show them the fuzzy matched suggestions which are created by other users. If not, obviously empty states would be there. Cool. So this is one thing. Now, can this search location or not? I'm thinking on that. Let me skip it for now, or I'll mark it as location. Um, Need to think on this. Cool. Now, so map is done, a search is done. Now, this is for the consumption part, right? They search a location and then the data shows up on the map. How would they tag a location, right? So so I have few ideas here. So since I'm creating an MVP app and also the number of features and the easiness of use, right? Easiness to use the app, I want to have it much better. So I want to give all the options in the first screen itself. So what I'm thinking is there should be a floating button, maybe floating button. So since we have already occupied the top part of the UI with the search bar, right? I don't want to add anything else there. And the bottom part is still free. What we can do is um, a floating button with a plus icon, which okay, Basically, this will be the add or tag location, initiate tag location, initiate tag location. Cool. So this would be the, it would be like a round or some fancy button on the bottom right, which they can click and initiate the flow where they are going to tag the location, and they also get converted into a user which is not for, which is, he's not trying to consume the content. Instead, he's trying to create the content. Basically, if you see on Instagram, right, if you are on the Reels page, you are a consumer. But as soon as you click the plus icon in middle somewhere, you become a producer, and the whole flow changes for you to, put the content instead of consuming it. So similar to that. So floating button with plus icon, initiate tag location. So I think as soon as they do this, um, let me not have again the location search here. Let's not add location search for now. We'll think on this. Let's not add location search for now. So what I'm ideating is users. I will give them a live location ka button. So as soon as they click the live location button, it takes their map to where they are right now. And then in most cases, I'm assuming they might be at that location. This is the hypothesis I'm just assuming for now, and I want to continue with that. And maybe in future, I will add a search where they can just search a place. In this case, if they're not at the location, they do have the capability to just pan the map, move the map to the location. Not the best UX, but let's go with that for the first version. Let's not add location search for now. We'll think on this. Cool. Then one more option is floating button with plus icon, initiate tag location. Okay. So here, right, as soon as they enter, search disappears. Search bar at top disappears. Top search bar at top disappears. Floating button would be in the bottom right. Bottom right. Search bar at top disappears. And search by top disappears, and bottom sheet kind of thing opens. Bottom sheet opens. And then there's an overlay marker, like how we see in apps like Uber. Overlay marker on the map. Let me also write sticky. Center. Center sticky overlay marker on the map to decide the location to be tagged. Bottom sheet open, center sticky overlay marker on the map to decide the location to be tagged. Okay, what else? So the location is there. They will be able to see. Let me separate these things. So there'll be a sticky marker, and they can move the map and they figure out where is which is the location they are trying to tag. Then bottom sheet, not really a bottom sheet, but just a few content, maybe an input box and the next button, right? So, okay, what I'm thinking is, okay, to start with, what I'll do is I'll have an input bottom sheet with text input, and tag location button. Cool. Tag location button. Now also in this text input, right? This is very important actually. Text input will also behave like the search, will also behave like the will also behave like the search. What I mean by this is will also behave like the search. Basically, it will allow whatever user is typing, right? He might not know what the other people are using, or what tags other people are using. As in, if I'm adding a cherry blossom tree, right? As soon as I type blossom, I'll get a suggestion like already a lot of people have put cherry blossom tree. So if you select that, it would be much better. So basically suggestions for tag as well. Suggestions matching with existing results with count maybe, or let's not show the count for now. Okay, cool. Text input will also behave like the search. Suggestions matching with existing results will appear on user input. Cool. So we have the screen ready. So if you see, we have the map, we have the search. Users can search, and when users search a tag and click on it from the suggestions, the point data. So the original idea is not point data, rather heat maps. But to start with, let's do the point data. Point data appears on the map, ideally heat map. Okay. Anything else? Cool. To start with now, what else can be added? What improvements? So when they search, right, add filters like when was it added? Like last 7 days, last month, etc. Or past 24 hours. Add filters on search results. Good. What else? Add filters on search results. Maybe allowing media to be uploaded. Slightly risky for initial version, but I'll just keep it as an improvement. Right, allowing media. I'm still thinking whether to allow multiple tags at the same time. Multiple tags at the same time. Okay, okay, this is moving up, right? Cool. Allowing multiple tags at the same time. Not inclined on this. Cool. So the reason I'm not inclined on this is, as I said, this is solving a particular use case of I'm marking that location for this specific thing. In this case, if I'm able to tag a lot of things at the same time, one thing it confuses the initial users or new users as to what will one tag do or what will multiple tags do. This works in applications like social media because a content is not just for one particular case. For example, if I'm making a video using X song and I have a dog as well in that video and I'm shooting that in India, I can tag India, I can tag the song, and I can also tag dog, right? But in this case, it as of now, I feel it doesn't make sense. Mhm. Cool. So this is so far. Cool. So what I'll do is I will jot down as in when I keep getting ideas or whenever I take deviations, I'll be just keep on noting down over here. Meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll just start creating it. Now, few more things other than this screen. So that is screen one, right? We also need a screen for users to log in. These are very generic screens, which any application have. So screen two would be, let's say, the login slash sign up screen. Cool. To start with, we'll just give login with mail, but ideally social logins and phone number login. Cool. Then a profile screen, profile where they can edit their names. They can edit their names. I think for now, let's do this much only. They can just edit their names. In future, ideally, they can also set avatar images, basically a profile picture, and maybe some bio about them. Okay. One more screen which I might have to add in future is location tag information. So if I add the flow where I have some media and all, what I have to show is um, user who has added it. Okay, also this is overflowing out of it. Allowing multiple tags at same time. Not here, I was here, sorry. User who has added the tag, when was it added, and media uploaded relevant to the tag. Cool. And maybe a description. So if we are doing this, we also have to do the only if product produce, how do I say it? Consumption and creation. Only if creation flow is done. Cool. So this is all the ideation I wanted to do. This is more of the things which were in top of my mind or on the go, whatever came into my mind. What I'll do now is create the initial wireframe. I'll actually directly create it in code and then think of the data and the backend part on the same thing. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll quickly create a folder and bring it over here. Okay. Just a second. No, I don't want to use cursor ID for this. Usually I do use cursor. But for this particular project, I do want to do hands-on coding. So let's see. Let me Okay, this seems better. So I'm creating a folder where I'll keep all the projects which I'm creating on the live stream. Mhm. Projects, front end, 2026, live. Cool. Cool. So what I'll do is this will be my folder. Also, I'll just quickly change the theme so that it's much better for the video quality since I'm streaming this. Color theme. I'm thinking of some light theme. Let's go with this. Yeah, this looks fine. Cool. So in this live, I'll be keeping all my projects. So cool. So the tech stack, what I want to use for this project is, um, what do we say? Stack.md. Cool. Tech stack, front end. Let me open it in preview as well. Yeah. So in front end, I do want to use Next.js. I do want to use, although React query or TanStack query might not be very much necessary here, but I do want to use it for learning purpose as well. TanStack query. Cool. So if you're not aware, it helps in, also I'm also not completely aware. I'm yet to learn it better, but it helps in better API calls. Cool. What else? I don't want to go with ChatScene for this since it's not a huge application. But I will go with Tailwind CSS. I will go with TypeScript definitely. What else? No need of, I don't think we need a state management. Let me think. Yep, no state management needed for now, or maybe yeah, for maybe the user and all we do need. So just end would be there. What else? Hmm. Okay, cool. This is what I can think of so far. Now coming to backend, since I work more in front end for now. What I do want to do is I want to not spend a lot of time on the back end. So I'll use something like Supabase. I also want to explore AppWrite or other similar products, but most probably use Supabase for this project. Cool. So if I do this, I think most of my things would be solved. Same for auth as well. I want to use Supabase only. Supabase auth. Hmm, cool. For deploying, I want to, since backend would be deployed on Supabase itself, front end, I'll just go ahead and deploy in. Mhm. Deployment, I would also consider GitHub and for the code and Vercel for the actual deployment. Cool. Let me think if I missed on anything. Yep, I think this should do. I do want to think on the icon library. Icon library. Let's explore. Okay, cool. This is how it looks. Pretty neat. What is this? Not sure. Okay. Cool. Now, basis on this, what we have to do to start with. So let me create a plan.md as well. Plan, or how do I say? Yeah, let's go with plan.md. So to-dos to-dos would be scaffold, scaffold and XJS app, XJS app. Okay, also version needs to be decided. Most probably I'll use the latest version, which as far as I remember is 16 something. Hmm. Yep, 16.1.6. So 16.1.6. Although I don't need all the things which are present in this version, but anyhow I'm creating it now, so I have the freedom. 16.1.6. Okay. How do I create a to-do item? Let me check in GitHub or Markdown. Cool. How do we create a to-do item? Task list. Okay, something like this. Quite close, but I think I need to give a space here and a space here. Let's see. Yeah, this works. Also, maybe this hyphen is not needed. Okay, it is needed. No. Let me copy this. Okay, interestingly, it's not showing up in the same way. Let me read on this. Task list, checklist allow you to create a list of items with checkboxes in Markdown application that support task list. Checkbox will be displayed next to the content. To create a task list, add dash and brackets with a space in front of task list items to select a checkbox. Okay, what am I saying? No, good. I don't want to spend more time on this. I am assuming maybe VS Code doesn't support, a very wrong assumption, but I'm just assuming that and moving forward. I'll check in GitHub as well. If this doesn't show up, maybe I'll figure out how to do this. So scaffold an XJS app and then create. So what I'll do is the screen one, right? It's very generic and sorry, the screen two, the login thing, right? It's not a very complicated screen to build. So I'll not focus a lot on that right now. I'll just try to create some wireframe for the screen one instead. So create wireframes. Cool. Create wireframe for screen one, which is basically the map screen. Map screen. Then maybe create wireframe for. So when I say wireframe, I just want to get a structure done, not the looks of it. Screen two, two and three. Login and profile. Good. Hmm. What next? Mm, So we can do one thing. One option we have is to start with the implementation right away. And the other option is we refine the UI first. What I feel is working on the functionality would be much better. So work on let's say we implement auth first. Auth, so basically login and profile. Since if we don't do this, it's a dependency on the screen one. How would a user tag a location if the user entity itself doesn't exist, right? Implement auth, login and profile. One more task I can click is implement tag location functionality. Tag location functionality independently, basically without the search option, without the suggestions. So they can just mark any location with some text. Okay. So mark any location. Then we have implement search. So once the creation is done, right? Let's say this is creation. So once creation is done, implement search and populate it, or let me make it more like implement search tags, and then one more task for the implement or populate tag locations on map. What's the time? It's 11:06. I'm planning to do it till 11:30 and then maybe continue tomorrow. Good. Populate tag locations on map. Hmm. I think this much should do. And let's go with point data and then heat map. Good. So why this helps is now I have a clear picture in my mind what I want to do. So and also I can have some checkpoints from a Git perspective as well, where I can version control it better. I can think that okay, I'm done with this part, I'm done with this part. I'll add some more tasks here. Basically, the now if you see in this right, it is not it's a very higher level task, but if you see when I say implement auth login and profile, I know that the user will be able to sign up and log in and see his profile. So this way, the mental burden of thinking that it's a big task gets away, and I can focus on the learning as well. So I can spend now as much time I need on wireframing the screen one or on this particular task without deviating. So if I didn't had this, I might start on this and then in between deviate to some other task, right? Or maybe get started on the implementation right away. But now that I have this in place, I know I should not be deviating from this plan. Cool. So now one thing is we already decided Next.js. So what we can do as a beginner, if you're someone who is a beginner, you can just search Next.js. You already get this option over here. If not, you can go to docs. You already have the latest version. You can go to installation section, right? And let's say we want to use Yarn. Okay, I do want to use NPM since I had faced some issues last time when I was trying to create a application using Yarn. Cool. So what I'll do is npx create next tab latest. I want to create it in this folder itself and not sure what the yes option does. So seeing this, my whole idea for this live stream is I don't want to do things blindly. I want to learn as well. So let me see what this yes does. So right away, my idea is that it selects all the default options. So I don't want to do that actually. I want to see the options. So basically what it will do is it will create a next applications with the latest version where in this particular folder need to install. Cool. The directory live contains files. Oh, okay. My bad. I do want to create a folder actually. So let me do one thing. Let me say map tag actually. And I'll move this plan and stack MD to the particular folder later, to the map tag folder. Would you like to use the recommended Next.js defaults? So the options are okay. So I think earlier it used to ask one by one. Now it's saying all the options at once. So yes, use. So basically it's saying we do you want to use TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind CSS app router. So yeah, I do want to use all those. Now it is installing those things. Hmm. Let me quickly check whether my stream is working right so far. Okay. So one thing I realized is my audio was not that good, great, not clear as well. So maybe I might have to invest in a mic sometime soon if I want to do this consistently. Cool. So what we were doing, we were setting up the project and it's already done over here. What I'll do is quickly move my plan.md and the stack.md to the folder, map tag folder. And also I want to quickly open this folder. Okay, I don't want to show this screen. Good. I'll just quickly move my folder to a different screen and open map tag in the in VS Code. Cool. So now I have map tag with my plan.md and stack.md. What I like to do is do initial commit. Okay, so we are already on main branch. So let me do git commit, git initial commit. Cool. Cool. Now we can just start the project. So if I just go to my package JSON, I know there's a command called dev. And since we used npx, it has created a package log JSON. So I won't mind. I will just use npm run dev. My application starts at localhost 3000. This is how the application looks. Cool. Most of these icons are used by, used for the demo for the dummy UI which Next.js gives. So what I'll do is I'll delete all of those things. Let me delete the public folder itself. Okay, I'm trying to see where is the favicon. Okay, cool. So the favicon is there. So I delete the folder and just quickly create again. Cool. Now I have an empty public folder. Favicon, for the time being, I'll just keep the Vercel favicon, but I'll remove it in a bit. I'll I will keep this CSS, but I will just go ahead and remove all this. Or do I want to? Cool, let's keep it for time being. We'll need to set up theming. Okay, that's not how we comment in CSS. Since I'm just creating a wireframe, I don't really mind on having the theming right away. So for the same reason, I just remove the fonts as well, or let's say we comment them for now. We can say map tag. Tag locations and see what's around you. Better it would be see what's around you. I'll also comment this. I don't need it right now. Let me refresh and see this logo is broken. So I'll just go to my page. I'll remove all this regenerated JSX. Let's see, do we see a hello? We see a hello, cool. This is what I want to scaffold the dummy project, or sorry, I want to remove all the dummy data and scaffold the project. Cool, hello is there. Now, what I also think is it will be a mobile first application, right? So what I'll be doing is in the layout itself, I'll create a, what should I do? I'll create a main tag maybe. And I will give it a max width of MD actually. I think this works. Right. Max width of MD, and let's say we give it a BG black for now. It shows up over here. Min height of screen. Okay, this didn't work because the spelling is wrong. Okay, I think I don't have that. I do have. Good. Cool. Now what I want to do is MX auto. Cool. So what we can do is instead of MD, we can make it LG. Okay. Even this looks small. Maybe because we don't have any width. Okay. Cool. So basically what I'm assuming is I wanted a bit more of the width, but even with the max width LG, it's not happening. So let me try with SM. Cool, SM also didn't work. So LG is somewhere near 512 pixels. So what I'll do is I'll quickly bring it to my smaller display and just check. Not the VS Code, but the browser. Right, this do look short on my laptop screen as well. So let me go to the Tailwind documentation and try to understand it better. Max width. So, okay. So see, the easier option I had was I have some value in pixels in mind, which is basically around 700 pixels. So I could have just done maybe 750 pixels and would get, yeah, this is the kind of ratio I need on the desktop. But I don't want to do it since I want to learn what is the equivalent if I have to do it with the Tailwind class. Hmm. So here it's not showing the SMLG option. Cool. So my one choice is I just hover on it, or I just check for the suggestions over here. Okay. So it says max width would be 448 pixels. LG. I'm not really sure why this is the case, since if I just search for Tailwind, if I search for responsive, right, you see MD represents this many pixels, but we can also see that it's marked as minimum. Interesting. Cool. Let's do one thing. Let's go with not even LG. Let's go with Excel and see. Yeah, I think this should work. Or better, what I can do is I just put the values which I want, and then I just take up the nearest whole number from here for the RAM converted value. So what I'll do is I'll take 185 maybe. So 185 RAM, okay, not 185 RAM, but 185 value from Tailwind perspective is equivalent to 46.25 RAM, which is 740 pixels, which is fine actually. So basically the whole idea is that even for the desktop users, we show the mobile view itself, mobile or the tab view. That way since we are building it mobile first, right? If you want to see some example, if I search this website, right, even in the desktop, what I see is a mobile view itself. Since they don't want to spend, they know most of their users would be from mobile and they don't want to spend extra efforts on making a desktop view. Cool. So this would be somewhat how our app would look. And since I have given not a fixed width, but a max width, it will just shrink below that value, right? Good. So let me make it gray instead, or let me make the background gray. So the body gets a class name. So the body gets a class name of, let's say, maybe around BG Gray 100. We can increase it, BG Gray 300, yeah. And this becomes BG White. Yeah, something like this. Let me use, no. How about black with some opacity? Hmm. Yeah, I think this is fine for now. Cool. So how will our app look? Mm, we need a search bar at the top. We need the map and we need the fav icon button, right? So we just go to our page. Cool. So this will be our root page basically. So login won't be here. Login would be at slash login and profile would be at slash profile. So this will be our slash index or the main page. Now, instead of the hello, what I want an input, search input. I want the map itself, or basically the map will be covering the whole thing. So the map itself, and then the search input and the fav button, right? Or the floating button, basically. I'll just add the plus from my plus as a text for now, and we'll replace it with an icon. So let's say this becomes H full, W full. We don't need this, I guess. Yeah, this is fine. Flex call. Let's say I give green color to the map area, something like this. And I give search input some BG gray 200, some border gray 300. Cool. Some padding maybe. Padding to, and while I'm doing it, I'll also convert it into an input tag instead. The placeholder is search input, and let me convert this into a button instead. Cool. I need some padding on the overall thing. And so this would be map would be throughout the page, right? So it would be relative and map would be absolute. And it would be set to 0, right? I am a bit confused on why the whole height is not taken here. Mm, Let me try H full. Okay. Cool. So the height is not propagating to this particular thing because min height is screen. And or I think we can do just directly at screen instead of min at screen. Yeah, this works. Cool. So we have the whole map and we have this content. And I don't think we need this over here. Instead, we need one more div. Right. And also this div also has to be absolute with Z10. Right. Something like this. Cool. We can do flex just for now. I just want the map text to be centered. Justify center, item center. The map text come over here. Then I have this input, so flex and flex call, right? I have to make it insert 0. Insert 0. Cool, this appears here. I can say justify self, I guess. And how would that be? Okay, let me make it BG wide, rounded full, adding up to. Yep, so this is the problem. Um, when I do flex call, I think I might have to say items. Okay, not really. For this, I have to say items and maybe, no, not really. Let me check over here. So what I want is align item self. Yeah, align self. So I think this should work. Let's see. So if I do self and yep, the button appears at the very end. And here we can say justify between. Cool. So the button appears at the very bottom. The search input is at the top and the remaining area is filled with map. So this is the kind of layout I wanted. Now, cool. So I think if I go from my task perspective, my basic scaffold of the project is done. Where is my plan.md? If I see my plan.md, scaffold the Next.js app is done. But what is not done is create wireframe for screen one, right? So that I'll be, since it's already 11:30, I'll do that tomorrow on the same live stream. Cool. And then we'll improve the UI. So here there will be map, they search some location, the suggestions come over here. And once they click on the suggestion, it populates on the map. At any point, they can click the plus icon and the flow changes to creation flow. This input goes away. The input comes at the bottom. Cool. So that all will be part of this particular thing. Let me check if this works in GitHub. So what I'll do is I will quickly log in my GitHub. Let me go to my other screen and see if I'm already logged in. No. Just a second. I want to make sure what's wrong with that task listing, the markdown. Bit curious on that. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll bring the screen over here. I'll create a new repository. Cool. I'll mark it map tag, which might not be a map tag is available. I was thinking maybe I would have created that repository before. Cool. I do want to keep it public. Start with a template. No problem. Create repository. Cool. What do we do now? We do git add, we do a commit, scaffold. Or Next.js app setup done. Cool. We need to attach or remote repository, basically the GitHub repository into this. And then I can just say git push, copy this. So the thing should be pushed here. Let me check. Yep. Okay, now if I go to plan.md, yeah. So I think the markdown was correct. It just doesn't show up in the VS Code correctly. Yeah, which is fine, I guess. It is understandable. This is how it looks in the actual markdown viewer. Good. So we'll end it for today. Tomorrow we'll work on wireframe creation for screen one, and we'll slowly pick up the pace and get things done faster. Good. So I'll just remove this, and now you can see the full screen. So the whole idea is, you know, build some products, learn things on the go, not just tech, but also the things related to techs. For example, analytics, maybe A/B testing, deployments, marketing, taking decisions based on the user feedback, planning the product, planning tasks, planning versions, and also make friends on the go. If I am able to get some viewers on this app, on this live stream, sorry, make friends along and learn. That's the whole goal, and have products which people can use. Yes, cool. So see you tomorrow, most probably. Let's see. Good night. And stream.